My beloveds, there are doorways now opening beyond the world. Doorways that you can step through that will instantly propel you into the reality of all that you truly are as a universal being of love, as a multidimensional, gloriously illuminated heart of the Creator. All that it takes is to look for those doorways now. It is easier and easier to find the places where the illusion has thinned or melted away, and you are free to feel the glory and to be the love that you are. All that it takes is a moment of stepping out of the stream of thought, a moment of freedom from the storyline of the mind, and suddenly you find yourself alive to the communion of the omniverse and the majesty of the love that you are. These doorways are opening everywhere, giving every human being the opportunity every day to step free of the sub-creation of the human ego and to feel, if only for a moment, the freedom of the heart. I am here to encourage you to find these doorways, to look for the places where you feel the energy change, to use your heart, beloved ones, as your guide, waiting for the information that can only come in the language of love. There are so many ways to experience the freedom and the joy of this magnificent opening of the heart of God that is humanity. And there are so many ways to feel the reality of love looking back at you through every pair of eyes, floating towards you on the chariot of words, most especially flying through your heart and greeting long-lost parts of one being rejoicing in wholeness. Oh, beloved ones, I want to show you what it means to be all things, to be the glory of the wholeness, while at the same time to be forever the expression of the aspect of God that you are. You need lose nothing. Nothing of yourself, nothing that you have learned, and nothing of the creativity that you have found that has come your way. You now get to find that you are so much more than you have reached for, all that you have dreamed, all the places where your mind is blocked, where it can't believe that you are all things, can now open up, fall away. You can recognize yourself as the universal energy of love, the heart of God that is fully conscious in every increment of the whole, and as the whole, the song of oneness. Your mind continues to divide the spiritual path and to think different thoughts about what it means to feel this love, to experience this unity. One moment it will say to you, there must be no thought. There can only be silence. The next moment you can feel yourself communing with the angels and acknowledging by the beings on high. How can this all exist at once? How can it all be true of one being? That, beloved ones, is the joy. That is what you find when you step through these doorways and release the dream of separation. You are all of it, and all of it is alive at once. There is the ecstasy of being pure love, completely dissolved into the stream of grace that is the expression of life and the miracle of being your consciousness, your expression of this part of my heart in a way that will never end, but will always be deeply honored. The wholeness and the aspects are woven together in an illumination of love that cannot be described, but can only be felt as the magnitude of the awakening of God that is. You are the love I am, knowing itself in new ways, and this new awareness is a living, dynamic, vibrating hologram of grace, for love itself is ever pouring forth to express in new ways. Let this expression be the fullness of your being, with no limitation now. For many of you, at least in the beginning, these doorways to the experience of the hologram of love will be found through the gift of nature. You have already felt them in so many ways when you walk on your favorite path through the forest. Can't you feel the magic and the layering of all dimensions into one? Or when you kneel in your garden and feel the rich explosion of life that is in the soil, that is in the rain, the sun growing, can't you feel the doorway to the greater expression of what life is? When you are determined to step all the way through these doorways, you're going to be amazed. Some of you will fly free and never come back into the container of the little mind, but many of you who are committed to being this bridge of love will find these doorways will answer all your questions about who you are and how you can balance what you already know in your heart with what you have experienced as life in the world. How you can be the shining arc that brings humanity home to the full expression of love. These doorways are the thinning of the veil. They are brought to you through grace as the light dissolves the illusion of separation and solidity. You will feel so much joy in experiencing your divinity, your freedom from the confines of gravity. You will find that your heart sings in a harmony of expanded love that is suddenly interwoven with the song of every heart. A song of such astounding beauty that this world cannot hold it, but, oh, beloved ones, your heart can. The illusion of separation, as you already know, is falling away. I want you to feel this as a tangible reality every day. I want you to find the places in your life where the doorways are opened and the sub-creation becomes like a mist that you can walk right through into freedom. Begin to look. Take these moments and let your heart feel all around you. Where do you feel the sudden burst of joy? Where do you feel the wash of freedom? Where do you feel yourself remember that you are a universal being, comfortable in all dimensions, alive with the truth of God? And when you find these doorways, claim them and rejoice until suddenly you will realize that your world has been completely flexible and fluid. That which is seemed to be solid is instead very tangibly made of moving molecules of light. Every moment that you spend using your heart to test the illusion for the doorway to the experience of love are moments well spent, because you are using your divine intuition, using your heart to understand the messages sublime that are coming to you now from even the very electrons of energy itself calling your name from the other side of the doorway of love. It is time, beloved ones, for magic. It is time to walk into your garden and disappear, to have a journey across the universe, to experience all the layers and interweaving of love, the realms of God in deep communication. It is time to touch and be touched by the vision of the angels, to recognize how easily you can be all things at once. It is time to bring this joy here into the world that is hungry for signs, hungry for the experience of endless good and complete abiding joy. As in all things, in order to find what it is you are looking for, you must actually look. If you aren't paying attention, the doorways can disappear, but if you look, your call will be answered, for every part of this universe is alive and in communication with your heart. So when you call, your call is answered. Those beings of endless love who hold the space between the realms of God and the experience of the world will rush to open the bridge to you that you might step through, and that you might build it into something even stronger that can carry the hearts of all human beings into the remembrance of their truth as the heart of God. Even a moment of stepping through the doorway of interdimensionality will give you pure delight in your ability to be so much more than you've envisioned or dreamed. Don't worry if it is difficult to bring back with you, to place in words. Just know that what the heart feels is the truth. Trust these experiences of freedom, beloved ones, even if they are only for a moment. Trust that moment when you disappear and find yourself somewhere else. Trust that moment when the light blazes through and follows it and find yourself completely inundated in joy. Trust the moment when you awake and bring with you trails of blessings and light. And know that there are no longer rules that must apply to the physical world. The only rules are the rules of love, giving, and the open heart. Time can fall away. Gravity can disappear. That which appears as solid can reveal itself as the molecules of living joy, and all of it can be verified by your glorious open hearts. Come to me. Let me pull you through these doorways of grace and freedom, that you might breathe at last the breath of eternity, and that you might feel all that you really are, as both the expression of thrust of love as the creative power, as an aspect of God I am, in the joyous communion of the whole, that you might always feel how deeply you are part of everything. One of the greatest joys that now comes into the world is the disillusion of loneliness. For with the release of the dream of separation comes the powerful and unending awareness that you are always part of something grand, that you are linked and interwoven, that you are loved profoundly, endlessly, and deeply for all that you are in every aspect of your beingness. Rejoice and choose now to be fully open to the magic, to step through the doorway of transformation. I am with you as I am in you always. Amen.